Utah Capitol Journal 2012, brought to you by Comcast and the Utah Cable Television Association.
Comcast Cares Day was a huge success. Comcast would like to thank the more than 3,100 employees, families, and community volunteers who gave of their time to enhance 11 elementary schools, city parks, and other organizations across the Wasatch Front to help kids and community members power their dreams. With your support, we made a lasting difference for thousands of students and community members in need. Thank you, and special thanks to our partner, KFC, for providing lunch.
Comcast Cares!
Hello, I'm Dale Zabriskie. Welcome to Capitol Journal, appearing 24 minutes after each hour on CNN Headline News and on Comcast On Demand throughout the legislative session. Our guest for this segment is Representative Rebecca Chavez-Houck. Thanks for being with us. I understand you'd like to talk about a somewhat controversial issue of E-Verify.
Sure.
What does that mean? And
E-Verify is a federal program. It is a mechanism by which businesses can check whether people that are applying for their positions are actually have their legal identification here and that are able to work here in the United States. Okay. It's a program that's been actually used for a number of years. And recently the Supreme Court just issued a ruling that allows states to issue licenses or to rescind licenses or to penalize businesses in regards to licensure if they don't comply with E-Verify. So that ruling came down from the Supreme Court last May, and it's making an impact across the nation in terms of how states look at E-Verify.
So what's happening here in Utah?
Well, what we understand is one of our colleagues, Representative Sandstrom, Steve Sandstrom from Utah County, wanted to run a bill that would expand the scope of E-Verify in terms of imposing certain penalties on businesses if they don't comply, which would fall in line with what Arizona was doing and which the Supreme Court recently upheld.
So it would be modifying a federal program in Utah.
Yeah, what it is that basically we have already passed legislation here for the state of Utah requiring businesses to comply with E-Verify. There just has never been a penalty on it. And so this year what he wanted to do is augment and strengthen that bill or that law, putting some type of penalty provisions on there, and so that it could comply with what the Supreme Court has handed down.
So now what's happening?
Well, what's happening is he had been working on this bill, from my understanding, for the past few months. As I mentioned, this particular Supreme Court ruling came down all the way back last May, in May of 2011. So I know he's been working with a variety of stakeholders on this issue. We as the legislature have certain rules with which we comply, one of which is there is a certain date by which we can't open additional bill files. And in this case, even though he had been working on the legislation, he had not opened a bill file in that timely manner. You know, here we are in the middle of the session, and he has asked us to consider giving him that opportunity to open a bill file. And the House said, you know, we have rules to live by for a reason, and we're telling you no, we're not going to let you open that bill file. Now, I think that this gives us some good opportunities as a legislature, a couple of things. We can watch to see how this plays out in Arizona. Arizona now has their law. It's been upheld by the Supreme Court. Let's see what happens over the next year before we start imposing regulations and changing our law here. I think that'll give us, we can learn from their mistakes and learn from their successes. And immigration is such a divisive issue here. A number of us really still feel that it's a federal issue and all this, although this dealt with business licensure, it's tied to immigration reform. Let's take it back to the federal government, ask them to fix some things, including improve E-Verify. There are still some challenges with the system itself where it oftentimes flags citizens who are able to work here as well as legal resident aliens who have work authority and they're unnecessarily flagged. So let's take some time. Let's see how it works out in Arizona, and then maybe we can reevaluate whether that's something we need to do here in Utah.
Are there other states other than Arizona that are in this arena?
There's quite a few states that have passed similar legislation requiring their businesses to comply with E-Verify. Whether they're taking it to this next level, I think we're going to see over this next year now that that Supreme Court ruling has come down.
Well, it's an interesting issue in the news a lot. We appreciate your explaining what's happening. Thank you.
Thank you for having me here.
Thanks for being with us. Please join us again for Capitol Journal.